Hello, I'm Marty Morrison from Fireplaces and Fixins, here doing our 6th or 7th geothermal show. And in fact, we submitted one of our most recent geothermal shows to Aurora, which is a national agency that rates and judges shows of this type, and we won the national award over about 24,000 entries. So we're very proud of that. And they said they gave us the award because of the information that this video tries to give consumers. Now, specifically, geothermal heat pumps are units that take the Earth's stored solar energy out of the Earth, and we transfer that into the house for winter heating, and we take the energy or the heat out of the house and transfer it into the Earth for summer cooling. So a geothermal heat pump is both a heating and cooling device that heats and cools for about 4 to 6 times less than any other fuel. Now, one of the most exciting things that's recently happened is that just this past February, Congress passed a 30% tax credit on the installation of a geothermal heat pump. Now, that's been in force for several years, but the cap was $2,000. What's recently happened is that the cap has been removed. So now we have a 30% tax credit with no cap. Outside here is where it all begins and is the key to geothermal efficiencies. Any coal miner will tell you that 5 feet underground or more, it's a year-round constant 55 degrees temperature, which is a relatively warm place to extract heat from for winter heating and a relatively cool place to dump heat back into for summer cooling. The key to geothermal efficiencies is getting our 3/4 inch water lines 5 feet or more underground. If you have new construction, we dig ditches through the yard, take about a ½ acre, 1 ditch for every ton of energy. And these ditches are 3 feet wide and 5 feet deep, and the pipes are buried and backfilled, and then the ground is just reseeded and straightened out after the construction process is done. If you have less space, or for retrofit, you've already got a heating system and you don't want to tear up all your yard, we bring a drilling rig in, back it up close to the house, and drill vertical holes. And then we have no more spot ruined in your yard than the size of a school bus, the footprint of a school bus. And so it's real easy to reseed and straighten it back out again. Either of these systems provide maximum efficiencies for a geothermal heat pump. We then run a water and antifreeze mix through these pipes to extract this stable temperature. Sometimes too we can drop loops in a lake, or we can use a spring or a well to provide the geothermal energy to run your heat pump. In this house, this was a retrofit, which means that there was an existing 1,400 square foot house here behind me with a new porch on the front, and they've added another 1,200 square foot off to the right. And it's a perfect setup to set the geothermal in the middle and have a 2-zone system. One trunk takes care of the old house, another trunk line takes care of the new addition. So you have 1 furnace, 2 thermostats. It's like having 2 furnaces in this house. With a geothermal or ground source heat pump, the ground or outside is where it all begins. And I'm standing outside of a home that we're just completing a 4-ton barred geothermal project in here in Wheeling. And I'm standing right over top of the 2nd vertical well. Vertical well is where a drill comes in and drills holes. There was first hole here, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th right down this old driveway. And the ditch then runs in a semicircular fashion right in the house here between the 2 windows. 2 pipes then carry the water into the geothermal heat pump where the heat is extracted. In this case, the customer chose vertical wells over horizontal ditches because of the amount of space we have. If you're building new construction, or you have a much larger yard, we'll go horizontal ditches, which take up about 1/3 of a football field, so there's a lot more earth to recover, but it is $1,500 to $2,000 less money to do geothermal with ditches rather than wells. So it works equally well. Either is an alternative. This is a 4-ton barred geothermal just being installed in this house. We're about ready to start it up. You'll notice here a couple features. This is a zone board that controls where the heat goes, in this case, either in the left half of the house or the right half of the house. The flow center or the pump mechanism is mounted behind this furnace. This will take the groundwater and circulate it into the unit where the heat is extracted or it's put into that. This is the filter box, easily accessed. Slide the MERV 10 high efficiency filters out, inspect them and change them, slide them back in. So that's very easily done. I'm standing in front of the Bob Wilson home up here in Martins Ferry in Crawford Heights. And Bob has a tri-level house. He's got a basement, first floor and second floor, each 1,200 square feet for a total of 3,600 square feet. A year ago, we put a 5-ton bar geothermal heat pump in this house, and we did horizontal loops, dug ditches through the backyard to put the geo loop field back there. It was a little too steep to back a drilling rig in on this property. Bob dropped his electric bills off for the past year, and he had a budget totaling $109 a month. So if you figure that $70 a month was to run the household electric, meaning the hot water and refrigerator and lights and computer and so forth, that means that Bob spent about $39 a month, or about $450 for the year, to heat and cool this house. This house calls for a 4-ton geothermal system, and typically in a furnace where you'd have a single trunk line with several different takeoffs, you might have as many as 30 different ducts going to the basement, first floor, second floor, and master suite with no ability to control where the air goes. As far as the airflow of this system, we're coming out of this geothermal heat pump with this one main trunk line going into this plenum box, out of which we have 4 separate zones going to the 4 separate parts of this house. First floor, second floor, basement, and master suite. It's like having 4 furnaces in one, because whatever part of the house needs heat, that zone damper opens, allowing all the heating or cooling to go to that part of the house. So not only do you reduce energy costs by being able to put the energy just where you need it, but it's also far more comfortable. Almost every geothermal customer I talk to asks me the question, what's better, vertical wells or horizontal ditches? And the truth is, on either system, it produces the same returning water temperatures into the geothermal heat pump in the winter and summer, and so the cost of operation is about the same. Now we can increase the ditches or increase the vertical wells, which increases the operating efficiency of the system, but either system works very well. It's just that the vertical wells take up a lot less space, we tear up a lot less yard than the horizontal ditches do. Now, it really doesn't matter, because a year later, once the earth is all settled and it's seeded and it returns to normal, you don't know that it's even there. You know, I'm talking to more and more folks that are going to geothermal because they just consider it the environmentally responsible way to go. There's nothing more green than geothermal. 3 out of 4 of every BTUs come out of the earth. You're only buying 1 and getting 4, so it's a very responsible way to go. And we're using local electricity powered by local coal and not burning Mideast oil to accomplish our heating. From wood stoves to gas stoves, supplemental, central heating, and of course geothermal heat pumps. Whatever it is that you need, whatever heating project that you have, be it a whole house system or just a part of your house, we have a stove, a fireplace, a heater, a furnace, whatever it might be to fix you up. We appreciate the opportunity to meet you. You can give us a call at 635-3766 or 1-800-435-3766 or stop in and see us. You can also visit us on the web at www.firefix.com. Thanks a lot for joining us.